was out walking with Rico early, like I always am for these recordings. Starting at sunrise, getting my steps in, breathing fresh air, and for the first time, I was finally writing. All these ideas I'd carried, and it was the first time they really felt like they could come to fruition. I've always loved the word reinvention. I reinvent myself all the time. But don't get me wrong, because that morning it just hit me. It's not a complete reinvention. I have so much experience. So much I've already done in this life, and so many plans not already laid. It's not a reinvention, it's a calibration. And to me, there's a real difference between the words I want to walk through, because I've lived both of them. Recovery is nervous system regulation and breathing again, walking and talking, figuring out who you are, catching your breath, normalizing the newness, the new habits, the change. Rebuild is a complete tear down to build it back up, and it seems daunting. And I've lived through it. Reinvention is exciting. It's everything you've always thought about doing, and now you're actually going to do it. That means committing to change, to small bite-sized pieces, to new habits and new ways of doing things. And it's a big commitment. And recalibration is building off of what you already have, taking everything that's already yours and repurposing it into something even better. Here's how I lived that. I've always wanted to write a business authority book, and there was no better time than now. But I was truly so unhappy with how the recording and the writing were going. It just felt dull and flat, and I wanted so much to speak to my experience, and it wasn't coming through. So I started creating questions for the end of each chapter. Questions I would want to be asked. And those questions started actually building the chapters. 12 questions, 12 chapters. Then I realized how powerful they were, and I turned them into an entire method. And the method needed a blueprint, something to diagnose where an organization was out of alignment. And then I thought, I wish I had this for my own career and my own self. So I built a second method for personal alignment. And then I built a company around that called Turquoise Horizon Integrative. And with that, I co-founded the Be Well Collective to align with that company. And that's what I call recalibration and growth by design. I can't explain the depth of it. The frustration, giving away to momentum, to excitement, to awe, every emotion. And right next to it, the fear of what if it doesn't work? What if my clients aren't happy? That's the clenched teeth, the heavy body, the not wanting to move forward. And then the opposite, when you feel powerful and energized, like you can do anything. You're moving and you're shaking, and the conversations are stellar, and your energy is different, and you catch yourself smiling. And we all know when you smile at the world, it smiles back. And I know which word in my body, when I say calibration, it sits right in my solar plexus, dead center. And it takes my breath away just a little. A really deep, exciting breath. It reminds me who I am, what I've accomplished, what I have to offer, and how much I'm learning, and then how much value I can bring. And it encourages me to keep going and keep learning. The sky is the limit. And that sits right in my solar plexus. And when I say reinvention, it sits a little higher up in my chest. It doesn't take as deep of a breath. It feels a little more daunting and a little bigger of an undertaking. So I recalibrated off of who I am for the reinvention of myself. There's a skill underneath all of that, and I'm leaning on it. And it's my can do mentality, my belief that I can figure out hard things. I think I lost some of that along the way because I could hire agencies and vendors and really super smart people who had already figured these things out. And it was my ability to use my voice that I leaned on. At 30, I was in pharmaceutical sales, literally knocking on doors. And here I am as a founder in my 50s, back at it, trusting my voice, my ethics, my wit, my humor, and most of all, my integrity, knocking on doors. And I described myself as an instrument, a finely tuned instrument, because it matters how you play it. And do you practice? Do you get better? Do you try new things with it? Do you try new songs? Do you trust the instrument? That's how I look at myself right now. And to be real about what this feels like day to day, because I'm living in it. Some days I can't do anything wrong, and I'm strong and I'm sharp. And I blow, honestly, my own mind. Everything I set out to do gets done. And some days I cannot get out of my own way. Getting up to walk the beach and record feels insurmountable. The computer fights me. Hours disappear on one task that won't work. Trying to get a website live. Every term contradicting the last. I'm so confused, I just want to give up. I think it's a lot like golf. And there's those little shots that you just land and you say yes out loud. And there are days you can go out and days you can't do anything right. But it's those very few good shots that keep you coming back. The wins are small, but they're everything. And they're what keep you going. To me, that's recalibration. Taking all I am, knowledge, intuition, empathy, and pushing it towards a new mission. This is day 36. If you're in your own reinvention, come and walk with Rico and I. Subscribe below and rise